Electron Beam Introduction of Heteroatomic Platinum-Silicon Structures in Graphene. This paper was published in the journal Carbon in 2020. This work is part of a larger, overarching research thrust, where the goal is to develop a fundamental understanding of atomic processes and beam-matter interactions that collectively enable atomic-scale fabrication technology. In this work, we build on previous demonstrations that established a technique for placing silicon atoms in a graphene lattice. Silicon atoms are typically found in the surface contamination of graphene samples. Here, we would like to discover if other elements that are purposely deposited on the graphene surface can also be inserted into the graphene lattice, similar to what was done with silicon. For atomic fabrication strategies to be of more general use, we need to branch out beyond silicon and graphene and explore what other elements we might be able to substitute into the lattice. There are many elements to choose from. Here, we decided to try using platinum because this is readily deposited using focused electron beam induced deposition, PHEBID. In this process, a precursor gas, composed of molecules that contain a single platinum atom, is injected across the sample surface in a scanning electron microscope. The imparted energy from the electron beam is able to break these precursor molecules apart. The molecular fragments are chemically reactive and spontaneously bond to the nearest object. The electron beam, therefore, can be used to directly write on a surface with this technique. In our case, we used PHEBID to deposit platinum lines across suspended graphene. We then transferred the sample to a scanning transmission electron microscope for further examination. The platinum shows up very bright in this imaging mode because it is a large, heavy atom and strongly scatters the electron beam onto the detector. If we zoom in to regions around the platinum lines, we can see that platinum atoms and small clusters are present across the graphene surface. In addition, most of the graphene in this region is well covered with additional contamination. As we move away from the deposition site, the concentration of platinum atoms decreases, but so does the level of the other contaminants. We were able to find regions where there were clean areas of graphene along with a few platinum atoms. The first experiment we performed consisted of just scanning the beam across the sample and watching to see if any of the bright platinum atoms would spontaneously attach to the dark graphene lattice. We operate the microscope with an accelerating voltage above the displacement threshold for graphene. So, while we are imaging the sample, we are also ejecting carbon atoms from the lattice, creating point defects to which the platinum atoms can chemically bond. This procedure was successful. We observed that platinum atoms did indeed spontaneously attach to the graphene. To do this in a more controlled fashion, we found a platinum atom that was close to a pristine region of the graphene and used the electron beam to damage material in front of the platinum atom. The platinum atom bonds with the damaged region, and using this method, we were able to draw the platinum from the contaminated region into the pristine area. We also observed several examples of the platinum atoms bonded to defect sites with the lighter silicon atoms that were also present in the surface contamination on the graphene. This prompted us to examine several candidate structures, using simulations from first principles, to reveal the energetics of the defects as well as the three-dimensional structures. A platinum atom at a single vacancy site protrudes from the graphene basal plane, drawing some of the surrounding carbon atoms up with it. A platinum atom at a divacancy site remains planar. Likewise, a platinum-silicon dimer attached to a trivacancy site also remains planar. More complex platinum-silicon structures were also examined that distort the surrounding graphene. As the number and types of atoms comprising the defect increases, the number of possible structures increases in combinatorial fashion, thus precluding an exhaustive theoretical search through the expanding architectural landscape. However, the vast number of possible stable structures means that there are plenty of different structural arrangements into which the system can be driven. Understanding the fundamental details of beam-matter interactions on an atomic scale will be critical to future efforts at controlling and manipulating these transformations to produce desired functional structures. Links to the publication can be found in the comment section below.